Alright, guys, welcome back. Let's get into it. Imagine you're sitting in a McDonald's parking lot at midnight, waiting for a cop to show up because nobody could even agree on whose job it is to look for your son. That's how Christine Wansley says her 4th of July started. Not with a phone call, not with the search team already in motion, with a jurisdiction dispute, while her son was still out there somewhere on Horn Island. Let's get into everything that's come out since. We already know the basics. Nolan, 18, wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College, last seen alive around 3 p.m. on July 4th on Horn Island. His body was found 2 days later on the northwest tip of the island by a National Park Service ranger. What we didn't have before now is the timeline from the people who were actually there and the tension underneath it. We'll start with Judge Ashley Cole. She's a Chancery Court judge in Mississippi, and her son Warren was one of the 3 friends on the boat with Nolan when speculation started swirling online. And Cole's Facebook went dark. Cole put out her own statement to address it directly. She says she's deactivated her account temporarily because her family has 6 kids. Their photos were being spread across the internet and she wanted to protect them, not cover anything up. She says neither she nor her husband were anywhere near Horn Island that day and that nobody in her family tried to interfere with the investigation. Then she lays out Warren's timeline in her own words. Warren last saw Nolan around 3 p.m. The group left the island around 4:30 after their boat started taking on water pump issue. And her claim is that Nolan chose to stay behind to come back later with another group of friends. So just for a second here, who is that other group of friends? Nobody's named them and nobody confirmed they exist. So here's the timeline detail that raises its own questions. A friend of Nolan's called the Coast Guard around 11 p.m. that same night, July 4th, but the Jackson County Sheriff's Office didn't formally request Coast Guard assistance until around noon the next day. That's roughly 13 hours between the first call for help and law enforcement actually asking for backup. Nobody's explained that gap. So let's name the sentiment plainly. The way the family and their attorney have named it, an 18-year-old black athlete who could swim goes out with 3 white friends. Those 3 friends leave the island without him. Nobody sees him go under. Nobody calls for help in a moment. His phone turns up white. His keys get found only after his dad stands in a doorway getting stonewalled. 13 hours pass between the first Coast Guard call and an official search request. And within days, before toxicology even comes back, law enforcement is already saying no foul play suspected. People aren't pulling that out of the air. Ben Crump said it plainly at the press conference. He was one black with 3 young white men who happened to end up with his phone with his keys. Reverend Al Sharpton put it even more directly. What we've been told doesn't make sense. Now, here's where the keys and the phone come in. Elmore's account, he went to the friend's house where Nolan's car was parked. Nolan had stayed there the night before, on July 3rd. The boys inside initially told him they didn't know where the keys were. About 5 minutes later, after one of them made a call, a girl said the keys were on top of the Xbox. Elmore said the house felt tense and that he felt lied to. And once he had the keys, the people inside locked everything and wanted nothing to do with what was on the outside of the door. Christine's account on the phone is that she tracked it through Life 360, sent someone to retrieve it from land at one of the boat friends' houses. When she and her sister went through it, both of Nolan's Snapchat's accounts completely empty. No saved photos, no videos. She said that's not normal for him, especially on a holiday with friends, and that even her sister called it suspicious. There's also this. The mother of one of the friends who was on the boat has now come forward saying she's received death threats since the investigation went public. That's the other side of this. Online anger has crossed the line into threats against a private family, and that's not something this channel condones, regardless of where anyone lands on the case itself. To hold the line the way this channel always does, there is no confirmed evidence of foul play and no charges have been filed against anyone. The sheriff has said nothing in the evidence points to it as of yet, and Crump's own legal team hasn't even interviewed the three friends yet. They've lawyered up, and that conversation hasn't happened. Which brings us to where this stands right now, autopsy-wise. 2 autopsies have been done. The state autopsy was performed a week ago, Tuesday, by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office. The independent family-ordered autopsy, funded by Colin Kaepernick, done by a doctor with 0 ties to Mississippi law enforcement, that happened this past Friday in Washington, D.C. As of right now, neither has released a cause of death. Both are still waiting on toxicology. Crump says once his team has those independent results in hand, they'll make an announcement. So that's the truth of it. 1 week out, and there's still no official answer as to why Nolan Wells didn't come home. No charges, no causes of death, no interviews with supposed friends, and a family that's not accepting the easy answer. So the country is watching to see if Jackson County backs that up with an actual investigation or just a headline.